Hi there, so we're going to be reading from Mark chapter 10, verse 13 to 16, very short one. People were bringing little children to Jesus to have him touch them, but the disciples rebuked them. When Jesus saw this, he was indignant. He said to them, "Let the little children come to me, and do not hinder them, for the kingdom of God belongs to such as these. I tell you the truth, anyone who will not receive the kingdom of God like a little child will never enter it." And he took the children in his arms, put his hands on them, and blessed them. And so there's really just two things going on there. The first is Jesus' actions, that he reaches out to children who at the time were kind of children needed to be seen and not heard. So Jesus once again demonstrating reaching out to the other, reaching out to the least of these, reaching out to the insignificant and drawing them in. And maybe that's a strong lesson that we need to think of as the church, in terms of how often we're known for pushing people out, for creating boundaries, for building walls. Jesus constantly seems to be reaching out to the people. If they're not in the temple, then he goes to find them. He goes to meet them where they are, and he hangs out with them. And so he welcomes the children in, which is unexpected for this great popular teacher rabbi. Children had to stay away. Women had to stay away. The Samaritans had to stay away. The drunkards and the prostitutes and the lepers and all of these people kept away, and Jesus just one at a time or group by group just keeps bringing them in, and he says, hey, the kingdom of God is for such as these. And he seems to say it quite strongly for children. Unless you can become like a little child, you will not receive the kingdom of heaven. And so just looking at his words, what are the kind of things that he might be saying about children? Children seem to have a really trusting faith. They believe something that you tell them. They don't need kind of empirical scientific proof to the absolute. Why? Why do they believe their parent? Because they've come to trust their parent. Why do they believe their teacher? Because there's kind of a little bit of evidence being given, maybe their parents' approval or the school's approval or whatever it is, that their teacher is trustworthy. And so children are like that. They just really trust. We have to teach them to be wary of strangers, which is a terrible thing. It's in the world we live in, it's a good thing because it's necessary, unfortunately, but it's sad that it is. We've got to teach them to be scared of people rather than to just accept people. I mean, that's another thing. Children are really accepting. They don't tend to judge. They just have their friends. They don't have their black friend or their Chinese friend or whoever. It's just like, these are my friends. They will meet people on the street and want to take them home. They will meet a homeless person and have a conversation, will be their best friend. And so I think Jesus is kind of calling us to that innocence, to a sense of naivety, and in a sense it can be a positive thing, not always being judgmental or accusationary or suspicious maybe. But just saying, like, we need to develop and become like children, innocent and trusting and faithful, full of faith. Children believe things that are told to them. They accept them, and they do it. They want to test it. They want to experiment. They want to see it work, and so they put it into action. So those are just a few of the things. There are probably more things, but it's important for us to take time to stop and just watch kids, watch them in action, and just start thinking, what is Jesus saying? I need to be like a child. I need to have childlike faith. I need to have childlike trust. I need to have childlike perseverance. And unless we have these things, we can't enter the kingdom of heaven. So it's really worth putting some time towards.